Have you heard about a new artificial intelligent filter that you can put on your face on TikTok called Bold Glamor? It's an AI-powered filter that makes people look super polished. Smooth skin, chiseled jaw, perfect teeth, stuff like that. And it uses the latest in artificial intelligence completely adapt to your face if you cover part of it. And of course, many people love the idea of just being instantly flawless. But others are worried about the psychological impact of such a realistic filter, especially because mostly when you put on a filter, it's like a creative expression. You change the image in some way that's very noticeable. I don't even know if you could consider this a filter because it's such a good filter that it doesn't look like there's even a filter. Is it really a filter if you can't tell it's a filter? Now, based on the difficulty of building something like this, TikTok likely put a whole lot of manpower and money into this project. It probably wouldn't have been possible if they didn't have such a tremendous data set. Only the big social networks can take the top 1% or the top 1% of 1% of extremely beautiful people, have millions of photos of people like that to train a model this way. Meta said this kind of thing can have a negative mental impact on young women. So go out there and look better than your best with these filters, but just remember that they don't represent reality, and that's okay. TikTok has identified a unique filming quirk among millennials, and it's aptly named the millennial pause. The millennial pause is this brief moment where millennials will just be sitting there before the video starts.
And this is the millennial pause.
Hey guys, so
this is maybe a result of growing up with an older camera technology, like iPhone 7 and 8s. Hit record and you just had to wait a second or else you got cut off, and you learn that at a young age and it's sort of subconsciously in there. Now on the other hand, Gen Z has their own little quirk and it's called the Gen Z shake.
this is the Gen Z shake.
They hit record, then they set up their phone.
And this happens when someone from Gen Z pulls the phone out, hits record so quickly that they haven't even got it in position. So the first thing you see is a blurry moment before they land on their spot. However, unlike the millennial pause, the Gen Z shake might be intentional. It's used to make the video more spontaneous and authentic, in the moment. Some social scientists have even gone as far as to say the Gen Z shake is an ironic rebellion against an entire generation that grew up being filmed and videoed all the time. So while millennials might take a moment too long to start talking when they record,
at this point, most of you know what the millennial pause is.
Gen Z users film a bit too early.
It's where we shake the camera before we even get started on the video.
But both are interesting social cues that reveal the unique relationship the two generations had with technology. A new TikTok filter called the teenage look is making waves because it's letting older people look at a younger version of themselves. The filter does an uncanny job of smoothing wrinkles in real time, and it's often paired with the 1996 nostalgic hit The Freshman. And even though filters like this have been popular before, this one just seems so realistic. There's really been a flood of millennials that are reflecting on their formative years when they see it. And while the filter has helped some trans and non-binary people connect with a younger version of themselves that identifies with their current gender, research is also showing that there's some negative effects, like it's impacting people with high confidence, it's lowering it, and it's making people more likely to think about cosmetic surgery. And some users are speculating, which I wouldn't totally rule this out, that maybe when you take off the filter and it shows you in your natural state, it might be a little bit exaggerated, just because that added drama would also lead to increased engagement, which is how TikTok makes its money. Ageism, or being criticized for being old, which is probably as old as time, or as old people have been around, is nothing new, but it seems like the way TikTok's built, it might be amplifying some of those age-related fears. A recent filter called the teenage look went viral on TikTok, and it allowed people to look at a younger version of themselves. And it was a little bit sad to see just how many videos of people reacting that way brought them sadness or fear about growing old. Now, many of the videos where users actually used this filter, when they were done, it seemed like they had a certain sadness, at least melancholy, but maybe even a real fear. Now, the way the TikTok algorithm works, it will take content and give it to people pretty much indiscriminately, so you get a lot of different age groups looking at what you make. Inevitably, that means that there's going to be more young people that want to make a comment and make older people just feel bad. But there's more than that, because if you actually think about the business behind you having some anxiety over age-related fear, the anti-aging industry can use anxiety to sell more anti-aging products. And TikTok's integrated product feature actually encouraged the users who use this to sell anti-aging products afterwards. Artificial intelligence technology has just revealed how celebrities like Jennifer Aniston and Angelina Jolie are actually photoshopped on the cover of major magazines. The new AI tool called FAL Detector, FAL Detector, it's been trained on a special dataset of faces that were warped with the face-aware liquify tool in Photoshop. And the interesting thing about it is that it knows what original photos looked like, but that system can also be run in reverse. So if you give it a photo, it can undo what it's seen and put the face back how it was originally. So when applied to a photo, you end up with an interesting heat map of what it thinks the original photo looked like. So it can fix, remove what it thinks was added to give you back what it thinks was the original photo. That's exactly what a company called Within Health did. They analyzed 20 different magazine covers with Angelina Jolie and Jennifer Aniston on them and undid the heat maps. And it turned out that the most commonly edited facial features were the jawline, the chin, the lower lip, and then the two corners of the mouth. There's a new badge, a little watermark that you can put in the corner of all of your selfies if they were not touched up with any artificial intelligence enhancements. So the Not by AI badge is something that you can put on your photos if they're authentic, real, and all you. This badge comes hot off the debate about AI-enhanced photography and whether or not we need some kind of universally applied identifier to help with authenticity and trust. And in response, Adobe, who has a new generative AI tool called Firefly, is actually adding a digital signature to everything that it generates so you can verify that it was done from generative AI. And even though there's no consensus in the community at this point, there are some studies that are saying by the year 2025, over 90% of the content online could be generative AI created. So maybe a badge like this would help us suss out that 10% of authenticity. There is a new transformational beauty filter that you can use on your social media called Plump Butt. Now, the world quickly adapting to filters like blemish removal and skin smoothing and sometimes straight up complete transformations of your face. But this one stands out, or sticks out, or whatever. The guys over at Android Authority checked out the filter for us. So it does seem like it made the butt bigger, but also maybe stretched out the stomach a little bit and maybe the hip area, and it clearly distorted some of the background around the butt too. So, But it works. And even though there's the occasional user that says it makes their stomach bigger and didn't change their butt, which could be a problem, it's a great filter for those of us that just want a quick fix to plump up our badunkadunk.